Apple explains how iPhones will scan photos for child sexual abuse images.
They should.
And Apple offers technical details, claims 1 in 1 trillion chance of false positives.
Ooh.
So, shortly after reports today that Apple will start scanning iPhones for child abuse images, the company confirmed its plan and provided details in a news release and technical summary. Apple's method of detecting known CSAM, child sexual abuse material, is designed with user privacy in mind. Apple's announcement said instead of scanning images in the cloud, the system performs on-device matching using a database of known CSAM image hashes provided by NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, okay, and other child safety organizations. Apple further transformed this database into an unreadable set of hashes that is securely stored on users' devices. Apple provided more detail on the CSAM detection system in a technical summary and said its system uses a threshold set to provide an extremely high level of accuracy and ensures less than a 1 in 1 trillion chance per year of incorrectly flagging a given account. The changes will roll out later this year in updates to iOS 15, iPad OS 15, Watch OS 8, and Mac OS Monterey. Apple said Apple also deploys software that can analyze images in the Messages application for a new system that will warn children and their parents when receiving or sending sexually explicit photos.
The second part, that last sentence you just said, so basically, like, if somebody's sending you a nude, it'll give you a little warning, like, hey, this is a sexually explicit photo.
That's what it sounds like.
That's weird to me.
This whole thing is weird to me, but I'm not going to lie, but it's
like,
for a
on
good
Instagram,
cause. But
when you're about to see something graphic, there is the little
Well, I think it's like if you have like a 12-year-old and you give them an iPhone, since kids right now get phones at really young ages, and then they start interacting with somebody that's sending them like weird images, and you wouldn't really know unless they told you.
Okay. No, but I think it's a good idea.
So I think on your phone it would just pop up like, hey, your child received a sexually explicit image from user, and you'd be like, what the fuck? And then you can go see.
I think that's fire. If it's accurate and it's used properly, I think that's fire. I will say, anybody who don't update their phone, you gotta kind of look at them, right? Why you not updating your phone, my boy?
See, this I like this paragraph real quick because honestly I kind of agree with this, which is, for years Apple has resisted pressure from the U.S. government to install a back door in its encryption system, saying that doing so would undermine security for all users. That's one reason why I appreciate Apple, to be honest with you. Apple has been lauded by security experts for this stance, but with its plan to deploy software that performs on-device scanning and shares selected results with authorities, Apple is coming dangerously close to acting as a tool for government surveillance, Johns Hopkins University crypto professor Matthew Green suggested on Twitter. And, this is probably a good thing because it'll definitely help, because imagine how many of those people in the industry use iPhones.
For that reason.
Yeah, I get it. I guess for me...
Because, I guess at that point, Apple at that point has to pick who will be a tool for. And then, they're middlemanning it by, I guess, them being the one providing the information.
Is it them or their creation at that point?
Well, it would technically be a whole different sector.
Because I guess, if I could simplify my sentiment on this, and I mean in regards to the Apple trying to control their creation, which is the iPhone and the cloud system and everything like that, I kind of see it in a way as, and mind you, a kind of a parent-child relationship. You want them to be a certain way, not take into consideration how other people might interact with them, and you try to force them to be a certain way so they are a certain way in the world. I feel like that's kind of how this is going. Yeah, it's going to be used for evil. It's also going to be used for good. I guess, how do you then... Should you control the creation so it facilitates more good than evil? Or do you let that happen on its natural course? Granted, I mean, it's an iPhone, it's an inanimate object. It doesn't really have a choice, I understand. But I just feel like when you start to dabble in too much control over what it's doing, it's...
That's true. I agree with you, but then there's the thing where it's like those people using it for that reason are able to do it under the protection of honest people's
Yes.
privacy. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So, and it's vice versa. The government would be able to probably use it for something else under the guise of stopping people like that.
Yeah, terrorists or whatever they
You
say.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, I get you. It's just after a certain point, they themselves as an organization has to pick.
I also think it's a compromise. So the
That's also
government
their
wants
middleman.
in on Apple's infrastructure, and Apple says no. Well, the government says, well, then how are you taking care of crime on your infrastructure? And then Apple comes out with this and says, look, we got it. Back off. We'll deal with it. And I would say the government at that point has to be like, okay, you got it. Like, if you're going to take care of it, yeah, then just throw us the people that you find, and that's it. We won't come in, and you don't have to let us in, and we'll just get whatever you find.
Because my thing is like, I don't have a problem with this. I really, it made me like, it made my hairs go up a little bit. Like, what are you doing? And I read what is going on. It's like, okay, it's hard for me to be against this. It really is. Like, this is honestly probably a good thing. It's just, yeah, like that paragraph said, it's getting dangerously close to me.
Right.
It's getting
close.
It's getting a little close.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like one of those things. It's like when somebody has a moral point that's so superior to the actual logic of the situation, where you just kind of have to allow it.
Right now.
You have to allow it to kind of, because morally you can't argue against it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to kind of accept it, because the words don't even exist, really. I mean, it's if you specify your argument to a piece of what's going on, then you have the words for it. But that's not the general understanding. Then your argument would be saying, because of this small piece, that the larger thing should continue. So regardless, you're placing yourself at odds if you begin to even, you know what I'm saying? So morally, they couldn't even, and with the way that the world is going right now.
Getting into a moral argument, like, you don't think you should offer a little bit of your privacy for the sake of saving children? Yeah, yeah.
Such a noble cause, children.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the hashes, because it says it's got like 1 to 1 trillion chance of a false positive. When they say hashes, I don't know if it's like a thing in images that they're looking for, or if it's like actual hashes. Because when I've heard hashes before, and I might be wrong about this, it's about like certain key phrases in coding. Because all this stuff, I would imagine, on people's phone is encoded. Like, you can't access it normally. It's buried deep within like the tech, so that nobody gets to it, because it's traded on the dark web and stuff like that, and they send that through like buried files and stuff to each other. So I would imagine then, if it's looking for the hashes and those key code phrases, then I do believe it can be extremely accurate, because it's actually looking for the encryptions, as opposed to just like images or facial scans, because then you run the risk of like, well, that's just a really young looking like 25-year-old or 22-year-old or something like that, and then that's when people start getting flagged for child pornography, and when they're not actually, pedophiles and stuff like that. And that's the tricky part that I think people are kind of scared of.
Even what if you're and I guess it still would be considered it, but what if you're a 17-year-old and your girlfriend sent you, she's 17, she sends you nudes, right? What if you turn 18?
Oh, that's true too. Like local laws and stuff like that. Like
the thing just has to be completely nuanced. Like, it just has, like, there's so many ways that this could go wrong as well.
You're also harping on that last sentence, right? Where just a nude image is sent. You get a notification. Yeah. Because if you're, like, I get it. Like, let's say a young teen, 10 to, like, 13, 14, and you can do image. I guess I understand that. I still don't like it, but I understand that. But then when you start getting the 15 and, like, 18 range, it's like high school, like, that's what they did. Like, I got news in high school. You got news in high school. Pretty sure Doc got news in high school.
I don't know what Gene talking about. This man crazy.
This guy. So I mean, like, what now? Do you get notified like a nude has been sent to you? This has been sent to the for
I ain't gonna
review
cap you
by the
down.
blah
Ain't
blah
gonna cap
blah.
you down.
Just
Or
imagine
like,
some dad be like,
Your
nice.
dad blocking it. Your dad blocking it from down, so you just hear him yell, "Nah, not in this house." Nah,
tell
but
Sandra I'm gonna call her dad.
nah, but like if you're married, you got a girlfriend. But if you're married, you got a girlfriend, and like she sends you a picture, and it comes with the notification you're receiving a nude, but it's like blurred out. That'd be a little hot.
What's
Like,
wrong
ooh,
with you, dog?
it'd be like, man, I don't know what she sent me.
What if it tells
I
you
said-
that it sent it to your
and you
dad?
got to get to unlock some. Oh, that's why I made that joke. Because if it gets sent to the dad, then I mean, because that's what.
I'm,
It was
I'm
an
talking
award-
about. I said married and in relationship. That's what I was talking about. For older people, it still wouldn't to me. It wouldn't be too big of a bother because it'd be like you don't just get the picture. It's a little mystery. So now I
So
get to
that
open
extra
it.
step, like, ooh, I got a nude.
Yeah, I got
yes,
nude.
I
I
want
might
to
not
see
even
this.
open this shit now. I might save this shit for later.
Damn,
Like
bro,
opening a snap.
Can you imagine putting this technology though on other like adults? Like imagine some like jealous husband puts this shit on his wife's phone, or, like turns it on without her knowing, and all of a sudden he knows when she's getting explicit images.
See, we're already thinking about how wrong this could go. That's
just
what
pushing
I'm
the- I'm
talking
just
about.
seeing what it-
It's a slippery slope. Once you have
pushing
the
it, but-
access to do this, dog, we're like our argument previously in some topics. We're Americans. We like to take things too far. Not saying that we might, but there are Americans who probably will
I'm
take
really glad that
things
you guys
too
are seeing
far.
We like to
about some of these
capitalize,
things,
and sometimes it's not
man.
always
I really
the best,
appreciate it.
but,
We've
yeah.
grown.
I mean, it's not wrong. Like, I agree with you.
We don't do it. It's America, man. God damn it.
But like that's my problem with this. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's a noble cause, but like, will it not be abused? Oh, look at our history. We abuse things.
1,000% it gets abused.
I really, really hope that that image also doesn't get redirected to the dad so that he sees like what it is, because then it's gonna trigger this
That's
fucking alarm because all of a sudden an
wild.
adult's phone has child pornography if he has a kid that's like trading
That's
sex
a
nudes.
loop.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22, my friend.
You know what's crazy too though is that in order for this to actually work, Apple has to have created some kind of child pornography team. Because there's got to be people that need to vet it. Like there needs to be a human touch to it. Otherwise, the machine's gonna go fucking crazy.
So
and
I
you're
think it
gonna
would
get that
have
loop.
to be. It would have to be worked with some form of law enforcement or psychology, like people who actually deal with it on a formal level, where it's more like work oriented. So it's not just like you're exposing regular people to child pornography for the sake of vetting what is child porn.
Yeah, they definitely would have to, or they would have to hire ex like law
FBI
enforcement
and all
that
that
chased
shit.
after this. I actually dated a girl who her father, for lack of a better word, hunted pedophiles for law enforcement, like on a national standard. Like he was a federal. I'm not sure he was a federal agent, but I know he was pretty high up, and the stuff he would have to do, I remember, was intense. Like he would have to review any evidence, like even the worst of it, just so that he could build like profiles and stuff like that, so they could figure out who these predators were, and so that they could bring them to like justice and stuff like that. But I remember like when I was told that, I was like, dude, that's gotta take a toll. Like you gotta see some heavy stuff.
Yeah, what? Couldn't do it.
So I thought this was interesting. Apple's technology for analyzing the images. So Apple's technical summary on CSAM detection includes a few privacy promises in the introduction. Apple does not learn anything about images that do not match the known CSAM database. It says Apple can't access metadata or visual derivatives for matched CSAM images until a threshold of matches is exceeded for an iCloud Photos account. Apple's hashing technology is called neural hash, and it's analyzing an image and converts it to a unique number specific to that image. Only another image that appears nearly identical can produce the same number. For example, images that differ in size or transcoded quality will still have the same neural hash value, Apple wrote. So pretty much they're looking for specific images. It's still like, man, the fact that you're able to do that.
I thought it was. Yeah, that's gonna be really hard because like.
I just gotta trust
But I
them
mean,
when they
Apple,
say.
even though Apple like been secure or whatever, I mean everything they do is like police, like thumbprint to unlock my phone, my guy. than the facial
they got
recognition,
you.
boy.
That's for sure. Like,
Bro, it's dead. It's dead. You know what? These niggas probably already working with the goddamn feds, to be honest with you.
Just not publicly.
Just not
dude, the phone's
publicly.
got your facial recognition. It's got the watch has your facial recognition. If they wanted to go rogue, bro, you'd be done. Yo, you made it to the end. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching Fake Deep Thinking. If you like the show, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and to share. We really appreciate everything and appreciate you. So take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Have a good day.